guys, this is gonna be a little a video about my revo. I wouldn't really call it a review. I would call it more of something like my thoughts and feelings on the traxxas e-revo. Um as far as durability goes, the thing is unbelievably strong. You like, I like to drive my kits really hard all the time, and they most of the time they break. But the thing I've noticed on this is that none of the stuff actually breaks. The only things that do break on it are the things that are gonna wear. Things that are gonna wear are like your stock drive shafts, especially with the amount of power that the Castle Creation Small Monster puts up. The drive shafts are gonna wear. I wish I had one to show you exactly what I mean by wearing, but where the two pieces come together and they twist, that pin is slowly gonna start wearing on that plastic, and eventually it's just gonna break. That's gonna happen. Even the CVDs, they're gonna wear, but it's gonna take a lot longer for them to wear, opposed to the you might get like, I guess you could go through the like 10 plastic drive shafts for one CVD, maybe even more depending on how you run. The suspension setup, I like it, but I'm a fan. Like, it's hard to get to. Like, I don't know. It's a nice open layout here and all. It's nice and open and easy to get to. But it's a lot easier to work on, say, a shock that's standing up on the kit, opposed to something laying like down like this. It's cool. It does help. As far as performance goes, I think the same thing. I don't think it can really, like, it has about the same tuning capabilities as a normal shock, a standing up shock. Things you're gonna want to upgrade is the tires. The stock tires on the e-revo, they don't last long, especially if you're gonna be one of the people that runs it on 6S or even sometimes 4S with the right gearing. The tires will explode on you. Right now on here I've got some they're truggy tires. They're race truggy tires. They're not monster truck tires. They're 17mm hex tires. You could go with some monster truck tires. They're gonna be about this wide, I would say, and they're much bigger, and that's gonna put more stress on the drive shafts, causing the life of them to be less. As far as spur gears, I've noticed that occasionally like some dirt will slip down in there, like little small things like, say, a sliver of wood. I've had a sliver of wood get down in there, and it got lodged in the gear, and every time it went over, it wore down the teeth, and eventually I stripped the spur gear. The only thing I broke on this was the rear bulkhead. I don't even know how that happened. I've never broken a rear bulkhead on anything. But actually it broke. If you look at an older video that's about 3 weeks old, it's broke. You can see the split. Yet I was still bashing it like I would say normal. I did bash this normally. And what eventually happened is I jumped over a ditch and I just basically hit and stopped, and the force of it was so much that the car just stopped. And when it did, it shifted it, and basically the back wheels were shifted over some, and that caused the center drive line to rub, the rear diff casing to rub. You gotta understand, it's different than the mini e-revo. You mini e-revo watchers out there. There's the diff housing, and then there's a case around the actual diff ring and pinion. So, like, most problems with the mini e-revo is that when you hit a jump, the the bulkheads separate, that ring and pinion slips out of mesh, and it grinds a little bit, and after so much, you end up losing a ring and pinion because it's stripped. Well, this, actually has a little case over the diff itself and the diff pinion gear, which holds it together nicely. And then there's actually a screw which makes sure it holds the diffs together, which is really nice. As far as working on it, it's not an easy kit to work on because there's so much to it. So like, but it's fun to work on. Since it's so durable, you want to work on it too often, but I find it to be irritating to work on. So, but I've had experience with the mini e-revo, so it's almost identical except for the differentials. There's minor things like there's these little clips up front on the hinge pins for the can't think of it right now. I think it's caster maybe. I don't know, but it's a tuning thing. But it's little differences like that that really throw it off. Let me see how far. Okay, I'm 5 minutes. One thing I do want to mention is getting the camber right in the front is really hard, because instead of having a linkage to twist, you actually have to take the wheel off, screw in the pivot balls, put the wheel back on, and use your camber gauge to adjust the camber rate. As far as getting the same thing for the rear. The camber is really irritating in the rear. Let me think of anything else I can mention to you. Stock servos. You're gonna need to get the stock servos are bad. Right now I'm just running them because that's all I have. But like on most kits, the stock servos are bad. But one thing, brand new out of the box, the stock servos are okay. They have plenty of power to get the thing to do what you want to do. But over time, and time, what I'm saying is not that long, maybe a week or two. If you're not driving it constantly and like you said it, like there's gonna be loss of power. Like the servers are gonna get sloppy and laggy, and it's just gonna be bad. That's why right now each one does about, I would say, 120 ounces of torque. I'm probably wrong off by maybe 20 or 30 ounces of torque. Give 5, take 20. I don't know. They're not very strong servers and they're not very fast. But I would recommend upgrading to like say a Spectrum or a Savox or a High Tech, something with at least like 340 ounces of torque, so you can just run one servo instead of having to deal with the wire harness in the radio box, because it takes up a lot of space in that box. If you don't know what I mean, it's where both servos plug in, and then it's a Y harness basically, and it's a really big Y harness, so it takes up a lot of space. What else could I mention to you? The batteries, they get hot. Even though there's vents here, it doesn't get a whole lot of air flowing through there. So the batteries get hot. You're gonna kind of want to watch that. As far as what each compartment can take, the maximum is 5,000 milliamp 3S. I managed to squeeze in here a 5,000 milliamp, 54,000 milliamp 3S, and that is because my chassis split. Let me see if I can show it to you. If you look up there next to this white wire, the chassis split, and so it'll only use one clip, and it allows that battery to fit in there, and that's how the chassis actually split. Like, I bought this thing used, and the guy crammed this battery in there. And when he did, and it came off a jump, it just too much for that chassis. But the chassis is held together, even though it is cracked. The crack runs all the way up to the front of the diff. Like I said before about working on it, if you had to change the chassis, it would be brutal, because this thing is a nightmare to work on. As far as cleaning it goes, it's kind of hard to clean it because there's so many little pieces. Like getting your hands into the CVDs to clean them, it's such a small place. It's the thing was engineered very well, but I think it's almost over-engineered, I would say. Like, they could have toned it down a little bit and made it a lot simpler. I don't know how it would handle, but I would think it would handle the same. As far as the wing goes, it's kind of one of those things. It's like adding a sticker to a body. It's just there. I wouldn't say it does much except for take some of the force of a landing if you land on the roof and you don't have a body on. Getting to the body, this is the stock body. Mine's beat up, and then the back's gone, and then the front, it's all chipped up. But the Lexan on the body is really thick, so you're gonna have to do some really hardcore bashing to get this thing in the same shape I have. As far as getting the suspension right, right now I got the Progressive 2 rockers on it. You don't get much ride height from that, and you're gonna have to have your springs pretty tight on there to get at least where your arms are parallel with the ground. So, but the spring rate on those springs is like 25 pounds, I think, It's ridiculous, and it's all because of the way the suspension's set up with the inboard. So you have to have extremely stiff shocks. Now let's see if I could as far as negatives, really, I would say. Now most my negatives and stuff on this thing, they're not bad. Like, I wouldn't even classify them as negatives. Sometimes I would just say classify them as things to kind of think about. If you're new into RC, it's not a kit for you because there's so much there to deal with. Like, that if you don't have a general idea of how basic intro RC car works, you're not gonna just working on it. You have to have like the skills or the if you're mechanical and you know how to use your hands well and stuff, I would say it would be okay, but you're gonna have to be patient with it. But if you're new into the hobby and you typically don't do stuff like this, I would move on to something um, not quite so intense. Um, More negatives would be the wing. It's bent from landing on it, and I wish it did something. Probably gonna, when this one goes out, buy an 8 scale buggy wing. Servos, they do the job. They could be better, but they're stock. Cut down cost. This thing's like $600 new, which is okay. Stock tires are garbage, especially on the Mini E-Revo and this one. Just get you something else. Right now I'm running race tires. They don't run them on road because they're soft compound. They'll be gone in minutes, but they do perfect on, especially the Crown Fires. They have big lugs on. They do great with leaves and mud and grass and all that stuff that you're gonna run a monster truck on. If you look on most kits, you'll notice that they have these nice, pretty aluminum little links. It's just once again like a sticker on a body. It doesn't do much except look good. Because these right now, they're aluminum. They're just solid. So they're not. And the red ones are hollow. So I don't understand why they even put that out there. The only thing I would do is I'd get the black ones and dye the chassis black to do the all black look. That's the only reason why I'd ever upgrade those. The rockers themselves, they're really strong. We got RPM A-arms in the front. It's because I found them on sale. Oh, well, actually, let me mention this to you. What you're gonna find is that if you like to land your kit like this a lot, it's gonna put a lot of stress on those pivot balls. And my stock A-arms actually strip the hole out of the pivot where the pivot ball screws into the A-arm, and that was irritating. So I just went ahead and got it RPM, which is doing better, but I do notice that it's starting to wear some. As far as the back goes, it's pretty good, but the only other things I could mention too would be like, actually the only thing you could do to make this better other than the things that I kind of mentioned would be just play around with the shock oils, diff oils. I put some foam. I took the picked the unscrewed the ESC, and I got some like little foam that my CVDs came in, just little soft foam, almost like tire foam. I mean the inserts in tires. And I folded it up, let it kind of made it pretty thick, stuck it under the ESC, and when I bolted it back down, it had kind of some give on it. So like, because I noticed that there's lots and lots of rub of the ESC on the bottom of the chassis, and so that foam there is gonna, especially on the jumps, it's gonna do some good in the end. But yeah, this thing is it's a real good strong kit. As far as racing goes, it's a negative because the transmission is so high, and the ride height's so high on it, even low as possible. It's so much higher compared to the truggies that the truggies have low center of gravity, good grip, and they're just gonna be blowing laps by you. But if you're gonna race in a monster truck class, this is the thing to get because it's almost as low as a truggy, but it doesn't quite have it. The Savage, it's like this high off the, well, that was silly, it's almost 3 times high off the ground, and the motor's like almost at the top. So that's good. That's a bad thing for racing. One more thing to mention to any Revo owner out there is this turning radius is garbage. It's absolutely garbage. There's a few turning modification, not turning modification. It's called the Steve Sladen steering mod, and what it does is it allows you to get more a steering radius. I didn't do it too extreme, so I didn't get too much steer throw. But there's a picture of a guy that did it like to the maximum, and he had actually more steering than a truggy, and that's what hinders it on a truck too. Is it just doesn't have the agility as the truggies do. So this thing is perfect for just beating around the yard. But if you bought this thing and you're more of like a 70 80% basher, 20% racer, it's okay to race. Just don't expect to win, because most people at the track have like $1,200 setups and just getting their kit running alone, and then they're gonna go out there all day and tune the thing until it's perfect. But if you have any questions on if you're getting a revo, if you have a revo and you're having issues with it, just go ahead and let me know. Post a comment in the box below, and I'll be sure to get back to you and answer. Okay. Well, go ahead and comment, rate, and subscribe. I'm probably never mind.